can you believe that it has been 20 years since Status Quo released their album, The Party Ain't Over Yet? I, in a previous episode, talked to Quo fan Daniel Jordan about the album, going through it track by track. Go and check out that episode. To tie in with the album that year, there was also a celebratory DVD by the same title, The Party Ain't Over Yet. Its contents included a new documentary directed by John Keeling and a smattering of extras that, let's be honest, in the mid-2000s got many Quo fans' mouths watering, because there was just so much packed into this 2-disc set. Disc 1 was the documentary, as I say, sort of a feature-length documentary that's part historical record and part now historical record, but then the recording of the new album. So for the first time in really good quality, we get to see Status Quo in the studio, coming up with ideas, messing around a little bit, recording, and just seeing that banter between the band themselves and the producer, Mike Paxman. We do only see a handful of songs recorded, including Gotta Get Up and Go, The Party Ain't Over Yet, and All That Counts Is Love. But let's be fair, even now, this footage is gold dust. We also have interviews on the set with the members of the then current band, which included Francis Rossi, Rick Parfitt, Andy Bown, John Rhino Edwards, and Matt Letley. There's also some secondary stuff with Bob Young, the longtime collaborator with the band, who offers a lot of insights. There's an interesting section in there about the writing of Down Down and seeing Francis and Bob talking and conversing and listening to a demo tape that they made of Down Down back in the early 70s. It's all really interesting stuff, and it's kind of laced with archive footage, rarely seen kind of music videos. Well, they were rarely seen then. A lot of this stuff went on to be on the Accept No Substitute DVD, but there's also performance of 4,500 times from live at the NEC. There's all kinds of bits kind of in there, as well as some behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, this documentary was really good. You know, I was 15 when it came out, and I must have watched it several times, and I would talk about it constantly. It still ranks up as one of my favorite pieces of Quo film ever. I watched it again recently with my wife, and we still were kind of marveling at just how much access we were given to it, which is great. And I've had the opportunity to talk to John Keeling, and you can go and listen to his memories of End of the Road. And we do touch upon this, and I would love to get him on the podcast to go to even more detail about just how it all came together, because in my mind, it's brilliant. Disc 2, which will be familiar to many fans because it had so much gold dust running through it. I mean, there was, oh goodness, I mean, how much did you love like seeing the full 4,500 times from the NEC in 1982? I mean, that was just wonderful, wasn't it? I would do a thing where I'd go and do a task and I'd come back and go, oh, they're still playing, like just fun stuff, you know, and seeing all the little interplays. And yeah, I played that segment in particular to absolute death. There were also, as I say, promos, a few kind of promos on there. The 70s live footage, including Wembley in 1974. which I think was that not a B picture with a Rory Gallagher gig back in the early 70s. It's not the best looking footage, but it's pretty raw. To hear Jackie Linton's intro, to see Rick playing in the early days of his white Telecaster and just bashing away at that thing. And it's used several times during the documentary to illustrate the power and the Telecaster and everything else. There's a piece on the disc about Coronation Street because that was very current then. I'm sure that helped to ship a few units. There was the promo video for Down the Dustpipe. I think Technicolour Dreams is on there too, and tuned to the music as well, which is rarely seen. In fact, I don't even think it's on the Accept No Substitute release. I'm rambling here because I have loved this release for 20 plus years. It was billed as something of a celebratory release because they were doing the anniversary thing, 40 years of Status Quo. That's from 1965 to the then present day. That's the meeting of Francis and Rick at Butlins in Minehead. And yeah, it just... what else can I say about it? What do you think? Are you a fan of the Party Ain't Over Yet documentary? Did you, like me, devour this DVD to within an inch of its life, to the point where I'm not even sure that it works properly anymore? Now that I remember, there are also outtakes on here as well, which are very funny, mostly Bob and Francis outtakes. There's one in particular where Bob will be talking and being quite serious, and then he just kind of changes and you see his face change and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm put off because there's this bleep behind me. And you see Francis with a sandwich just casually, but also quite discreetly walking by. So yeah, just amazing. So yeah, the Party Ain't Over Yet DVD came out 20 years ago. Would love to see some kind of upgrade. Don't know what they would have filmed it in back then, but certainly I'm sure some of it HD, please. Would be great. What do you think? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Please do rate, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and also your favorite podcast platform if preferred. I've been Jamie Dyer. Thanks very much for listening to this episode of the Quo-Cast. Bye-bye for now.